evening, mi gente. This is Ray Collazo. You're watching and listening to the Bomba Live Found in Translation simulcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Tonight is our sort of one of our favorite episodes of the year, the episode where we highlight and elevate not only the importance of Latinos in film and the film industry, both as audience members, as content consumers, but most importantly, content creators. And we celebrate our dear friends from Aphrodite Productions, our great friend Marangeli Mejia-Rabell, and our friends all of our friends at the Philadelphia Latino Film Festival. So glad to have this time to celebrate a great show, a great entertainment product. It's something that's kind of become a cultural touchstone for the Latino community in Philadelphia. Later on in the show, we're going to hear about the Philadelphia Latino Film Festival's contribution to Bomba Live 2 coming up Saturday, June 12th. And we have a lot of great, exciting announcements related to Bomba Live 2 a little later on in the show. But first, a great friend to the show and one of our muses here at Bomba Live, the Bomba Live family. She keeps us connected to our culture and our community. Marangeli Mejia-Rabell. Marangeli, how are you?
Buenas noches, Rafael. Qué alegría estar with the Bomba Life and Found in Translation family. It's an honor to be with you y muchacho, alegría de verte, de poder celebrar esta 10ª edición del festival y gracias por el apoyo y súper contenta de que por ahí viene el 12 de junio y vamos a dar nuevamente.
We are really excited. May 30th, it starts. We have an entire week of film offerings that Marangeli is going to lay out in a moment. But I do have to reflect on a moment. One of the documentaries that you highlighted in your content last year became the subject of one of my personal favorite episodes of 2020. Of course, I'm referring to last summer when you graced the Bomba Live stage to talk about Water Mercado with our other friends, Zulima and Mayra. That was a fantastic conversation. I don't know what I've seen more, Marangeli, the Water Mercado Netflix special or that episode, because you Puerto Rican women were on fire that night. That was a great conversation.
We had a great time. And hey, that's exactly the reason why we do this work. We're ready to enjoy this season and this 8 days of programming. We'll have plenty of conversation after that. I'm hopeful. Let me not be presumptuous. I'm hopeful that we'll have plenty of conversation.
Yeah, no, and I'm looking forward to returning myself as an audience participant. If you recall, the last time we had a physical one in 2019, I took my sons to see one of the movies. They had a fantastic time. What's our buddy?
Papi Ramirez versus the Giant Scorpions, which, by the way, great story. That film ended up winning the top award at the Nightmares Festival, which is a genre-specific festival and screened at the Salem Horror Fest. So shout out to Papi Ramirez. Por ahí viene mami. Estate pendiente.
Yeah, I do have to connect with Les. Great guy. So why don't we start with this, Marangeli, because we'll talk about Bomba Live in a second. Bomba Live 2 coming up Saturday, June 12th, which is not only going to be a spectacular, we have actually converted into a conference family. I mean, we got to explain this because this is going to be really deep, but also is going to raise awareness to a very important issue that I know Marangeli keeps close ties on how to support. Of course, I'm referring to the crisis happening on the island of Puerto Rico, but throughout the diaspora as it relates to domestic violence, the scourge of domestic violence. So we're sending a clear message throughout all our programming, but particularly on Saturday, June 12th, that we're here to look for solutions to eradicate this piece from our culture because it's deadly. And I mean, if we're not protecting the women in our lives, our mothers, our loved ones, our spouses, our partners, our sisters, I mean, what are we doing here? So that's going to be something that's a very clear message, and we're going to have a lot of programming and messaging related to that specific topic on June 12th. But why don't we get back to the Philadelphia Latino Film Festival? But Marangeli, let's start from the beginning. Where does the Philadelphia Latino Film Festival's journey begin for you?
Philadelphia Latino Film Festival journey began for me on April 13, 2012. I was actually blessed to be invited to be a collaborator for the kickoff event as part of my work with Aphrodite. That was a wonderful experience with a very heavy film, building community, just, enjoying what the potential of this festival was. So everybody was really excited. And then from 2013 through 2014, I continued, supporting as a collaborator. And then in 2014, I joined the board of directors and, got more involved on the day-to-day because the festival was run by a group of volunteers that were part of the board of directors and other volunteers. And at the end of 2014, I was blessed to be offered the opportunity to serve as the director, and the rest is history. Every year, new learnings, every year, new challenges, every year, new opportunities. I shouldn't say new challenges. Let me rephrase. New learnings and new opportunities and new blessings and new surprises and un poquito de expansión, poquito a poco, ¿no? Empezamos el proceso inicialmente. Yo empecé a servir como directora en 2015 with 3 days. We're Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then by 2017, we were like, we need an extra day. Vamos a hacer otro día. And this year, completely blown away, where we realized that based on the amount of submissions and all the energy that filmmakers were putting into working with us, and really super blessed, we made the decision that we were doubling the days of programming, the only way that we can do it possible. So we're actually doing 8 days from Sunday to Sunday. And people will be like, the Sunday before Memorial Day? Absolutamente. The Sunday before Memorial Day. You know what? Because that's a perfect time for families to gather. Because that is the time that somebody may go and visit somebody and is coming back and commuting in a train. And they say, what do I do for the next 2 hours? Well, I have news for you. You can watch no matter where you are. Access and flexibility are the key. Our work is really centered around audience experience, right? How to watch, how is it? We always take that. That's our posture. It's like, okay, ¿cómo vamos a hacer esto que la gente lo disfrute? El año pasado was a great learning for us in terms of that. We were dealing with the pandemic and we wanted to make it easy and breezy. Just log in, join, watch. Nada más. No hay ningún tipo de transacción envuelta, nada, right? It was a gift. That's what we felt was appropriate. Anything else? No. It would have been tone deaf. That was our open. People that wanted to donate to the organization, fantastic. But donate to watch a film, not necessarily. Watch the film. Just take a break because it was a pretty loaded time. So entendemos eso y based on that understanding, we're doing something, where people have the flexibility. Last year we ran it, even though we ran it virtually, we ran it as a schedule. So Rafael's film was at 7, Marangeli was at 9. And we understand now the landscape continues to change and we have to be open to continue to embrace new opportunities. And the new opportunity this year is that we can release the programming in blocks, right? We have 60 blocks of programming, but we're going to do it in rounds. So you'll have one round that will be released on May 30th, that people can access those films between May 30th, May 31st, and June 1st. That's the reason you can watch one at the cookout. The other day you're laying low. Exactly. The other day you went to visit your mom and you want to watch something with them. It's the holiday weekend. Enjoy it. And then after that, on June 1st, we'll release the second batch, June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And then last but not least, cerramos con el fin de semana del 4 al 6 de junio. Y estamos bien contentos de que los individuos van a tener no solamente el acceso por este por este periodo de tiempo, pero también una vez tú empiezas la película, tú tienes tu window of time to finish watching. We understand that sometimes you get a little hungry, you go grab a snack, you want to pause it, that kind of thing. Make it easy and comfortable.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. We're talking to Marangeli Mejia-Rabell, talking about the Philadelphia Latino Film Festival. You have to check it out, May 30th to June 6th. Check out phlaff.org for more information. Purchase your tickets now. Marangeli, it's such a good point because as we're planning this year, obviously people are going to have a little more freedom than they did last year. Mm-hmm. In that, our team is saying, some people are saying they're going to be busy on the 12th. They're going to be on vacation. They're going to be vacation. Look, let's be honest about it. Most of our people are not climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be at the beach. They're going to be on a porch somewhere cooking something. Or, and what are they going to be doing at the pool, by the way? They're going to be like this the whole time. So you're going to be in and out anyway. So there's plenty of opportunity. And that's why we chose. It's so funny because we haven't had this conversation yet. So what we chose to do was have the main stage, which is what people saw last year, that one continuous stream from 2 p.m. to midnight last year. as the main stage, and that'll be obviously open to whoever watches on social media. But this year, it's going to be a virtual festival. So for the $12 virtual ticket, you're going to be able to log in, and you're going to see multiple stages of performances, artists, panels, virtual expo, opportunities for small group conversations with celebrities, your favorite social media influencers, one-on-one conversations, networking. And we're going to offer, for again, $12. And for PHLAF viewers, even a bigger discount than that, which I'll share with you the offer code for you. I have for you. Is that they're going to be able to get this content afterwards in a link, so they can replay for the rest of the summer if they want. So, and again, I think it's all experimenting, right? Like, calibration.
What I tell audiences is diversify your browsing. Siempre estamos mirando, nos están enseñando las cosas que debemos comprar, etcétera. Just, take a break.
Exactly.
A pause and watch something that, was produced with a lot of love.
That's right.
Same with Bomba, absolutely.
And back to the vacation crowd, you Memorial Day people that are going to go with your SU, go down the shore and camp out and all that. What are half of y'all doing half the time anyway when it gets dark? You go home and you watch movies. Claro. So, let's support our people and our creativity. Let me ask you this question, Marangeli, because I've been curious about this. So one of the things that came out of doing Bomba Live last year, and people were like, wow, 8 hours, 10 hours, that's so much. And I said, you know what the biggest lesson I got of it is? We could do a completely new show next week with a completely set of cast of Puerto Ricans, and the show would be just as high quality. So the content is not the issue. No. So one of the things I admire about what you've done, which is not easy, and I think it speaks to your distinct personality and your leadership, that from Philly, North Philly, street stories, to very Latin American, higher end bohemian kind of cinema, and everything in between is a part of your festival. So how have you been able to craft, and why is it so important for you to have that diversity within the Latino community and really the Latin American community as part of the festival?
Bueno, yo creo que es clave porque es bien importante para nosotros el tener esa apertura a diferentes perspectivas, a diferentes experiencias, a diferentes emociones y situaciones que a lo mejor nosotros no hemos pasado personalmente, pero que pueden apoyar informing how we interact with others, how we relate, or in situations where we don't see that connection, it's not that obvious to us, to really take the time to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. That is definitely what made me fall in love with film as a child. Just understanding that la niña que estaba creciendo en Bayamón era un speck en el universo. Y eso tanto el cine como la música han sido bien importantes para mí en ese sentido. Y la misión de nosotros is really to support creatives, filmmakers and other creatives that are either emerging and established. Always that mix, right? Always that diversity at the table, that diversity as part of the experience, because there's a lot of insight that one can gain from just exposing yourself to other takes in life, to other practices, to other rituals, to other, and come with an open mind. De la misma manera que el cine hizo eso para mí, como niña, también la música. Yo siempre lo digo, para mí siembra Ruben Blades and Willie Colon. I remember being a kid y pensar Latinoamérica, y yo estoy como que, right?
Panamá, presente.
Claro, it gave me the perspective that Bayamón, Puerto Rico, aunque I still think it's a very important part of the world, right? Yo la llamo la República.
Los Vaqueros ganó el campeonato de baloncesto.
Hey, el gran combo, Rafael y seguimos. Gilbertito, don't get me started on Bayamón.
Y Ariel es dueño ahora del equipo, sí.
Hey.
Va contra Bad Bunny ahora con Santurce. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. I'm going
with Yadiel on this one. And I like Benito a lot. That's a good conversation maybe at some point for us to have about Benito. It's interesting to talk to people that are of your age group, and some people are like, no, and I'm like, come on. 30 something years ago, we were like, people were telling us, why are you listening to that? Es lo mismo, ¿entiendes? Y el humor de él es increíble. Anyway, love to Benito, but we're not here to talk about that. Pero when it came to Siembra, de Latinoamérica Unida and the Plástico were the two songs that really,
me too.
I was like, okay, I get it. Well, I have to do something else with my life. I got to be of service. And I am part of a larger family. And I, through the years, and I can say somebody who actually was a really dear friend in the beginning of our collaboration, we were working together. He asked me point blank, do you really feel that all Latinos are family? And I said, muchacho, pues claro. Digo, yo veo una bandera puertorriqueña, donde está caminando, vaya boricua, that's one. Para mí, con todo el respeto a todos, right? Todos somos familia. Yo le dije, Dominicans and Cubans son primos hermanos. Y el resto son primos. That's how I see it.
It's a good way of putting it. Y la gente de Curazao y Caribe, ese
claro, todos esos son
primo también, sí, en otra manera, ¿verdad que sí?
Correcto.
So the other part of the puzzle here, Marangeli, is that you're doing you're gathering these Latino filmmakers at a very interesting point in the history of content, and really global content, because it wasn't too long ago when moviegoing was, you had to make a film, and with the hope of somebody maybe at a film festival showing it, or maybe a Hollywood studio would pick you up. Now the bar to produce content and to distribute it to a large degree is much lower. But at the same time, the Latino community in the United States is really, such a powerhouse from the consumer perspective. We still have a long way to go with the mainstream studios, but Latinos at this point are just kind of surpassing that to say we can communicate with our people. You know how many people, and these Boricua, our crew, the Boricua All Stars, the Funky Bacalaos, Ivelisa, Comiendo Riendo, Omi. Some of these people didn't start doing social media till the pandemic started, and they literally have as large a followings, if not bigger followings, than major celebrities in our community because of that authenticity. And the bar is so low. So how do you see the art reflecting in this critical time in our history from the filmmakers that you're working with?
Unas capacidades de innovación increíbles, unas capacidades de servir como puentes increíbles, the entrepreneurial spirit, in the sense of, a nosotros nos gusta la brega, a nosotros nos gusta, we are Latinos, Boricuas, we're hard workers, we're hustlers, but this has really opened. There's also a lot of, based on everything that is happening in our communities, there's also been a lot of reflection of the importance of us being the ones telling our own stories. Right. And I'm gonna use a phrase that may not be too pretty, but not putting lipstick on the pig. We gotta name it to be able to heal from it. We gotta be able to, hablaste del caso de violencia doméstica, todo el problema de violencia doméstica que estamos enfrentando ahora mismo. Eso es algo que lleva a conversaciones que son tough conversations, but are necessary. And it doesn't mean that we cannot move from there. It doesn't mean that we cannot grow from there and we cannot heal. And film does that. And what you see, you mentioned Papi earlier. Papi is a perfect example. Papi Ramírez is an example of, me las voy a inventar. Os voy a decir bien borico, me las voy a inventar porque ahora estoy en un sitio donde no tengo la capacidad to shoot how I'm used to. Let me rent a storage space.
Yeah. And
let me do it with green screen. You kidding me? And going to all of this is happening all around us. This opens the door for younger, for everybody, actually, not connected to age, but just connected to technology that is more accessible. People are now recording stuff on their phones. It's not this high-tech equipment that it was unattainable, or that you felt intimidated by, or that if you didn't go to film school, your film will not be. No, this is about storytelling. This is about creating and holding space for our own voices and for what it's needed, right? It's doing our own remixes. You don't have to be a certain way to be a filmmaker. You don't have to be a certain way to do this, right? You mentioned the differences in terms of like documentary filmmakers and people that are doing grassroots work and people that are still, doing the studio stuff, or people that feel that, they look at it as a very, and it's not a diss, not knocking it. Some people are very peculiar. You see the same with music. People that are a purist, that salsa needs to be a certain way. And why are you playing reggaeton? And, or this is the way that salsa goes. Of course, el gran combo es la Universidad de la Salsa, pero let people do other stuff.
That's right. I don't know if you saw the Victor Manuel went on Chente Drach show and had this conversation about how he gets attacked by the salsa, community about, hasta haciendo música con rapero y reggaeton. He goes, if I want to stay relevant with young people, what do you want me to do? We have to keep this music alive, so we have to keep it relevant to people. And it's very interesting because he's going to come out with an album. I guess he said, pandemic's over. He said, it's going to be a double CD. One is going to be La Salsa Tradicional, Okay. Then he said the other one's going to be Cada Canción with all the new reggaeton people. Because he said the Marvin Santiago and the Chamaco Ramirez of this generation is Mike Towers and Mickey Woods.
Hello.
And those guys, de la calle.
He's right. Hello, Benito again, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
They're the storytellers from the streets.
Absolutamente.
People connect to.
Y que parte de lo que yo siempre he entendido que ha sido como una tensión is the misunderstanding that heritage and culture are the same, right? Heritage, of course, Bomba, like todo lo que es tradicional, ese es nuestro legado, es parte de nuestra cultura, pero la cultura como tal continues to evolve.
Exactly.
And that's where you go with the new expressions. You want to have a heart attack about Benito's lyrics? Okay, hello. 15 years ago or something. Hello, yo los encuentro súper graciosos.
The 80s salsa scene? You want to talk about?
Hello. Exactly. Órame otra vez y voy a llorar y all this stuff that it's like todo eso era salsa romántica, pero la gente pensaba era muy sexy, right?
That's right.
Y mientras tanto está pasando aquí, ¿qué pasó con René y Calle 13? Primero, oh my God, Dios mío. Y mira, let people evolve. Benito has real talent. And, I just see that Cristian Mercado is another, Cristian Mercado Figueroa, who we're showing Nuevo Rico. He did a film with Bad Bunny for YouTube. This is a voice that is like really adjusting. Y going back to the music and the blend or the collabos between reggaetoneros and salseros. The Mark Anthony and Daddy Yankee song is fire. Esa canción
is two legends. I mean, I was trying to give an equation to an African American friend of mine. I said, I don't even know if saying Usher and Jay-Z is appropriate because I don't even know if Usher elevates on that level. I said, but that's the kind of classic collaboration that is. That you're going to look back and say, wow, that's incredible. And then, on Benito's new album, Bad Bunny's new album, he does a song with Daddy Yankee. So it's like stretching the generation of It's a Género, right? So Marangeli, you, before we go to our first break, I want to share with you that you've inspired us here at Bomba Live. Because first of all, and we'll talk about your involvement in Bomba Live in a minute for Bomba Live 2, but Bomba Live 1, you basically, the festival, let's be honest about it, the film festival stole the show. You put together a compilation of best stuff with Chef Ivoni and some of these great collaborators that you worked with last year's festival, and it just literally blew everybody away. And so we're so proud to have you back this year. But we had a great episode earlier in the year with, again, a group of social media all-stars. I call them the Boricua social media all-stars. They're like the Fania of social media creators. They're the Instagram, TikTok stars. Denito, Funky Bacalao, Dean Huertas, Jersey Rican, Omi, Cooking with Omi. All Puerto Ricans. These are our celebrities. These are our stars right now, right? Boy. And so at the end of the show, the last question Christina asked Funky was, what do you want to do next? And she said, my dream in doing this is to be the antagonist in a novela. So Marangeli, besides the great films you're going to present at Bomba Live 2, we have produced an original novela.
Te voy a hacer el...
Mira vaya.
Cocotazo, DH. Death of Cocotazo.
Death of Cocotazo, starring all of these social media stars. And I'm so blessed because Rena Valentine, who's in New York, I'm sure you've connected with her at some point, is a New York artist, entertainer, theater person. She's directing it. It's all online. We're doing it virtually. Ivelisse Rodriguez is one of the great Puerto Ricans in literature. I'm proud to call her a great friend. She wrote Love War Stories was her latest hit book, and she's won the Golden Pencil Award and all these honors. She wrote it for us, and we have this amazing cast. Our Albert Garcia, my producer, is producing it technically. He's doing a fantastic job. So we're going to be doing something groundbreaking. Hopefully we can submit it for next year's film festival.
Hey,
so it's going to be pretty incredible. So I'm going to show a clip of some of our social media all-stars at work.
Por favor.
And, not of some of the stuff they have on Instagram. Then we come back. I don't have anything we can leak right now. I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to send it to you entre nosotros, confidential. But nothing I was prepared to leak right now. But I'm going to show you some of these characters, some of their great IG stuff. When we come back, I want to hear about some of these films that people are going to see at the Philadelphia Latino Film Festival, May 30th to June 6th. Go to phlaff.org and let's for tickets, and let's get a little taste of the kind of entertainment we're going to get. Bomba Live 2, June 12th, including some of the stars from Death of Cocotazo.
Dígame, vecino.
Hola, vecina, ¿me puede mover el cajo ese? ¿Y de qué usted ríe?
Como ustedes los puertorriqueños mencionan la R.
¿Y es que ustedes hablan con la I esa? ¿De qué tú hablas, ah?
Nosotros somos los originales del arroz con gandules.
Ni siquiera se dice gandule, es guandule.
Gandules.
Eso tiene que ser editado.
Y además, nosotros hemos ganado más Serie de Caribe en la pelota.
¿Y de dónde ustedes sacaron esa información?
Oh yeah? But you Dominicans don't know how to speak English.
Dije que no sabemos inglés.
Your fucking mother.
Ahora tú hablas español.
¡Omi! ¡Conmigo acalao! Este año Thanksgiving va a ser en mi casa y a mí me tocó el arroz con gandules. Tú sabes que lo mío es la comedia, no la cocina. ¿Tú me puedes enseñar, por favor?
Vas a coger tu caldero, le vas a dar la vuelta con el aceite una vez. Vas a coger la misma cuchara con la que se sirve el arroz, vas a coger el sofrito y fuá para allá. Y vas a coger un puño de cilantro, fuá también.
Un puño de cilantro, ¿y eso cómo se mide?
Picas tus vegetales chiquitos.
Ay, no, ya eso es mucha información.
Vas a lavar el arroz 3 veces.
3 veces. Ni yo me baño tanto. Pero no le vamos a echar adobo.
El adobo, la cantidad que te dé a tu corazón. Después de ahí, menea que te menea. Es lo más fácil que hay, nena.
Claro, lo más fácil que hay.
Pues tú me dices, ok, está bien, bye.
Que se chave. Yo voy a ordenar Uber Eats.
That was amazing.
They're unbelievable, aren't they? Much respect to folks Jersey Rican, Cooking with Omi. We're
that was my favorite.
No.
Que diga habla español.
Exacto. I told him, I said, that I kind of resemble that remark. That kind of hurt. That's like personal. But we're talking to Marangeli Mejia-Rabell about the Philadelphia Latino Film Festival. So Marangeli, tell us about this lineup you got going on. I'm going to show a clip from one of the films I'm really interested in seeing. But just give us people a general sketch, a flavor of what to expect next week.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that, but before I do that, I need to do something. I have to give a shout out to our team because I know and I appreciate the praise, but this is, our programming team has really rocked it. Everybody, Leisa, it's killing it. Hello,
that's family right there.
Do I need to say anything else than Leisa Montañez? It's a wrap, right?
Exactly.
Our design team with this beautiful stuff, nuestros cards con a little QR code that people can go check it out. But in terms of the lineup, we have been very blessed. We have over 25 countries that are engaged, and we have 27 world premieres. That means those films are being shown with us for the first time. And we have 57 documentaries, There's just a variety. I want to give a shout out to Daniel De Jesus, also on our youth salon, that also does a great work working with our young people. We have had filmmakers as young as 12 years old. As long as you're younger than 22, you can submit to the youth salon. Cristal Sotomayor, who's our programming director right now, began the journey working with Lisa as part of the social media team, then got to screen in 2016, then screen a student film as part of the youth salon in 2017, then came back in 2018 for our opening night to do welcoming remarks as a filmmaker, which we also always include. And then from there, she announced that she was joining as a programming coordinator, which she did in 2019. And in 2020, we'll look at each other like, she's part of the creative team. Come on now. And Absolutely. She's our programming director. So that also speaks, and I know you want to talk about the films, but that also speaks to approach and how, just like you do with your team, it's about building families, it's about building community, right?
Absolutely. Christina Vega, who actually did earlier this evening, her show, Love Shouldn't Hurt, which was sort of a spinoff of Bomba Live. She's my co-executive producer. Albert Garcia, our technical producers. I mean, the man does God's work. Ray Velez, local guy. People knows our graphic designer. A whole network of people that are part of the show on a lot of levels. And people that, it's interesting because, Manji, what's so interesting about it is that you're always amazed how little credit they want. They just really want to be a part of it. And so as the leader, I'm the same way. I'm always like real conscious of making sure they get their just credit. And then you just never know, last year, Betty D, the Sweet Sensation, is a woman that had 5 top 10 Billboard hits in her life. Only one of the few Puerto Rican women ever had number 1 hit in Billboard, right? I mean, music legend, freestyle legend. Comes on the show, enjoys what we do, and is going to host and is helping produce the primetime show and bringing Brenda K. Starr, J.W. Cortez, K7, all these Daphne Zuniga.
I'm sorry.
K7 is going. I know he's one of the favorites. Yes. He's gonna be there, and Daphne Rubin Vega from Rent and In the Heights, and Kiara Alegría Judas. We've already taped her interview that's going to appear. She's going to be getting one of the main honorees. So, which the Philly flavor is going to be very strong. I want to show a clip from a movie that you're showing at the film festival. Then tell us a little bit about it. Hold on a second.
Tengo que contar mi historia. El huracán María nos cambió a todos.
Hemos quedado sin nada.
Es que lo que ha pasado este pueblo llora ante los ojos de Dios.
Queremos empezar de cero.
Si quieres aprender, mijo, recuerda las memorias de tu alma.
Esos políticos se aprovecharon de una crisis para actuar sin escrúpulos.
¡Ya está bueno, puñeta! Hace 20 años que no se unía el pueblo de esta manera.
Dile a Adela que lleva el alma de nuestro pueblo en esa cacerola.
Nos vemos en la calle de la Resistencia.
Esto no se ha acabado, tenemos la fuerza. Este es nuestro pueblo, no hay quien nos detenga.
De aquí no nos vamos, esa tierra.
Esa es
Calle de la resistencia, calle de aguantar la violencia, calle de revolución. Calle de la resistencia, calle de independencia, calle de amor. Esta manifestación es ilegal.
¡Policía justo!
¡Puerto no nos pelea! ¡Puerto no nos pelea!
¡Avanza! ¡Tira con el rifle!
¡Levántate!
En la medida en que los boricuas liberan su conciencia, se libera Boriqué.
Eso es así. Calle de la Resistencia. What an honor to have the opportunity to premiere that film. What an honor.
It's unbelievable.
It's really a phenomenal story. Not only that, but the way that it was created. So this, you have Maritzel Carrero como productora and Milton Carrero, que es su hermano, como escritor. Una historia hermosa en términos de it's a labor of love. I don't have to, you see it in the footage, but their journey begins after Maria. Milton is also a journalist. He's covering. He starts all of this, triggers also the creative juices. He begins writing songs. He shares them with the sister, right? And I did a talk back. We did a sneak preview with the Annenberg Center for the Performing Arts for this film. And it was really interesting that in that conversation, Maritzel dice, ahí hay algo. Cuando ella oye las canciones, dice, ahí hay algo. And we kept on saying, es que ahí hay algo. Y una cosa leads to the other. The writing, he's writing the songs. Then de verano del 2019 pasa, del 2019, ¿no? Y una vez pasa eso en Puerto Rico, más canciones. Y what is phenomenal about this project is that they end up putting together a musical, over 20 songs. And then the pandemic hits. So then they start rehearsing via Zoom. Hasta que llega el momento que ellos dicen, esto no, no lo vamos a poder poner en cartelera porque está todo cerrado. Y siguen explorando y siguen rehearsing hasta que en algún punto encuentran esta facilidad donde pueden rentarlo con todo, con all the, obviously following all the restrictions, all the COVID protocols, etc. Pero they shot that film in 3 days, bro. 3 days, ¿ok? Y una de las cosas que really impressed me and, super pleasant es que es una película que toca en una variedad de it touches on a variety of topics, but it never feels preachy. It never feels, it's just through the eyes of this family, through this experience, but they talk about, you name it. Tú sabes, de lo que está pasando en Puerto Rico económicamente, el impacto de María, el impacto, las tensiones con la policía, las protestas, las discordias entre familias que están en diferentes posiciones, Black Lives Matter. I mean, it just goes on because they kept on moving with what was happening. But it does it in such a way that, it helps us reflect and really take this in, but really celebrating the strength of our people in such a beautiful way. It's just amazing. I highly, highly recommend it.
No, and that's why people have to check out the Philadelphia Latino Film Festival. Go phlaff.org for tickets. And there's dozens of projects, just like Calle de la Resistencia, just very powerful. So it's so interesting because, even people that, for lack of a better term, are somewhat privileged in our community, like us, the biggest feedback they gave me about Bomba Live was basically that this is a mirror to us in our community. And it wasn't just the artists, and it wasn't just the stereotypical images. There's teachers, and there's guys that have small businesses, auto shop guys, and Salon de Belleza gals. And we have people in all areas. This year I have a ballerina. I've got inventors, scientists, yogis. And the fact that we just showed the diversity of people in our community that are just involved in these different areas of accomplishment, just being able to coalesce as Puerto Ricans, because oftentimes we have to do it with our Philly hat or our person of color hat or a Latino hat or whatever, it just was really impactful to them. And so similarly, we all know what went down with Maria. We all know what went down with Enrique Renuncia. We all know generally what's going on the island. But the fact to see it in such a format, it's very powerful. Obviously, with our cultura, our flavor.
Pero it's a testament that when difficulties, ahí es que you kick in your sense of innovation. Eso es parte. That's a core component de la puertorriqueñidad.
Exacto.
Nosotros nos las inventamos. Y no solamente eso, voy a hacer unos poquitos de mencionar otras, o a couple of more titles que son boricuas, y después te hablo un poquito de otras cosas rapidito, pero puedo decir, tenemos también La Guerra Against Our Schools, Mikey Cordero and Frances, con esa película de la guerra contra nuestras escuelas. right? Y cómo se ha impactado a la juventud y el desarrollo de nuestra comunidad. Chimeneas de muerte, que tiene que ver con toda esta cuestión de carbón y todo eso, right? Por favor, y of course, hablamos de Nuevo Rico en Christian, La Última Gira, que es la película sobre Daniel Santos, right? We're also premiering that film. And, we're also honored to be able to share with Philadelphia audiences the Rita Moreno documentary. That's a film for 24. Hey, we're really, really excited about that. You're talking about, and, Doña Rita is, I don't have to tell you. You will say
queen.
That
if you can be beyond a queen, you're alive, but you're not I mean, it's just beyond the icon of the icons in our
community. Correcto. So we're doing, this is the first film that we're giving a Lola Legacy Award, right? And then when you talk about our awardees on the Lola, which is our award to really celebrate excellence in filmmaking, you have 2 features, a phenomenal selection of features that were submitted, but we have 2 that we selected as winners this year that are just phenomenal. La Nave del Olvido, that comes to us from Chile. Y es una historia muy, muy, muy impactante y muy importante de una mujer que está en un espacio en su vida donde está tomando unas decisiones y se está abriendo a nuevas experiencias y aprender. Y Negra, que es un documental que nos llega de México, donde tú estás hablando del racismo y las experiencias de afromexicanas. Beautifully done. We also have, in terms of honorable mentions, we have Alas, that comes to us from Puerto Rico. And it's a collaboration between a filmmaker, shout out to Jaima, San Fiorenzo, y trabajando con unas mujeres en una penitenciaría en Bayamón. You have really folks that are loving this work and are really engaging and exploring a variety of subjects. And as you said, we also have things, offerings that are more experimental. We have music videos. There's a film that is super cool that is one of our winners of the shorts, that is Whitina. It's the white acting Latina. And it's all about, es súper, muy, muy, muy chévere la película, Whitina.
The other big thing going on in Puerto Rico that I've been monitoring, I'm actually inviting these people to come on Bomba Live too, is the opposite dynamic, which is the diversifying of the island is coming up with these very interesting cultural phenomena. So, for example, I don't know if you've seen Señorita Yangi on social media.
No.
She's a Boricua China. She's Chinese, grew up in Puerto Rico. And so she's blowing up. Her social media content is so intriguing because ella habla bien. She's from Bayamón, fíjate. Ella bien boricua, tú sabes. So she's like, cabrón, yo soy de la calle. And then have you ever heard of the Tropical Persian? She's an Iranian that grew up in the United States. She loves Puerto Rican culture so much that she moved to Puerto Rico. I don't think she lives there anymore, but she lived there in her 20s for 5 years. And everyone thinks she's Puerto Rican. Because la manera que habla, and she's like, no, I'm de sangre, I'm from Iran, but de corazón, I'm Puerto Rican. So there's a lot of interesting cultural things going on social media.
And it's all those intersections.
Absolutely.
Correcto, la gente piensa que eso solamente pasa, con todo el debido respeto a la comunidad de Nueva York, la queremos mucho, pero mucha gente piensa que es lo que dicen, que The Big Apple es el ombligo del mundo, que ahí que está todo el mundo, que ahí que está esa mezcla. Don't be fooled. It's happening in our communities and it's spreading. Yo me acuerdo ir en un viaje a Puerto Rico years ago with my daughter and her college boyfriend. He went into a Chinese restaurant to ask for something and he came out like, porque todo el mundo habla en español.
Seguro. Well, they're Puerto Ricans.
Claro.
It's unbelievable.
And he was just like, what?
That's fantastic. Marangeli, give us a last word on the festival. Then I want to give a few people a quick update on Bomba Live. Bomba Live 2.
Bueno, lo último que voy a decir es, shameless plug, all our short offerings, all our short blocks are free. And in terms of tickets, get your tickets, a feature. The bulk of them are accompanied by a short, as well as an opening film. $10. We have bundles, 3 films for $20, and so far and so on. We have the only film that we're giving the Queen 20, we're charging for the Queen, we're charging $20 for the Lola Legacy. And that film has also an audience cap in terms of number and in terms of territory. But also, I would say there are not that many films that are geo-block or geo-fence to the Philadelphia region. So people throughout the states and also people in La Isla pueden ver the bulk of the offerings.
No, absolutely. And people are very impressed. Marangeli, let me tell you that throughout the year, I'll get once every couple of months, someone will mention to me from Chicago, Florida, New York, Puerto Rico. Oh, you should connect with those people from the Philadelphia Latino Film Festival. They're really good. I said, we know people. But to your point is that amongst the Latino film community, it is not just in the Philadelphia film community, it's becoming a thing. It's becoming one of the centerpiece festivals around the country, and you should be really applauded for that. You and your team, of course, Lisa and the crew, do a fantastic job. So let's talk a little bit about Bomba Live. So I'm going to give you Bomba Live family, a phenomenon. Saturday, Bomba Live 2, Saturday, June 12th. We're taking it to the next level. Not only is it the main stage you will see on our Bomba Live social media channels. This is a virtual festival, virtual conference. So for the pittance of $12 donation, which is going to domestic violence organizations in Puerto Rico and Philadelphia, you're going to be able to go into a virtual conference platform, multiple stages, artist interviews. You're not going to get on the main stage, issue panels. And look at I'm going to just give you one example of the flavor we're bringing to the table, family. I just confirmed moments ago, Rebecca Nieves Huffman, one of the social media influencers from Chicago. Check it out. Hold on.
We're going to check out Diana's restaurant. This happens to be a family-owned business. My family. Check it out. Diana's has been serving up authentic, delicious Puerto Rican food for over 2 decades. Or as their website says, for as long as the Chicago Bulls have been winning championships. You'll meet the familia, check out their bestseller, which I got to taste, and see how they've been able to weather the COVID-19 pandemic. And there is the namesake of the restaurant, Diana. Remember when the proof was in back in the day, yo? I gotta put my hair net because we don't want no pelos en la comida. Thank you, Ricky. You know our nickname for him growing up was Ricky Ricky.
Espectacular. Eso es.
So Rebecca Nieves Huffman will be joining us at Bomba Live 2.
Eso.
Go to bombalive.co. Purchase your ticket now. Because not only you're going to get basically four Bomba Lives for the price of one, including the multiple music stages for the after party from 10 to midnight, but also you're going to get access to all the content afterwards. So if you just watch it on Facebook, when it's over for you.
It's a win-win.
So this is a win-win. And of course, we're going to be donating all the proceeds to Love Shouldn't Hurt in Philadelphia and a domestic violence organization. We're just dotting the I's across the T's to announce the organization. But one of the very prominent organizations on the island that's dealing with this issue. Marangeli, we're so proud that y'all are going to be returning, and you've agreed to be the producer of the film segments content of Bomba Live 2. So what should people expect from the contribution after the Philadelphia Film Festival, Philadelphia Latino Film Festival, your contribution to Bomba Live 2?
We have been celebrating and focusing on celebrating women's stories. I think you're going to get some of that taste and definitely see some of the wonderful work that filmmakers, Boricua filmmakers, are producing and all the different roles, acting. We're going to give de todo un poco, con mucho sabor boricua, a la familia de Bomba Live. Si les gustó el segmento el año pasado, prepárense, que venimos fresh from the 10th anniversary, and we're ready for you. We are so excited. So prepárense un poquito de genre films, un poquito, tú sabes, un poquito de animation, maybe un poquito de todo, pero celebrando nuestra cultura. Speaking of, I'm going to, please indulge me for half a second, and I'm going to say, when we talk about, because we're talking about women's stories, I know we're not fully open in Philly, and we're doing, everything is going to be available virtually, but there will be a little bit of activation here and there. So on Sunday, May 30th, come and join us. We'll be in Norris Square.
Okay.
And there are a couple of things happening there. There's some live painting, weather permitting, that will be happening through a collaboration that I have been blessed to do with Mural Arts. Villa Africana Colobó, hay un artista de Loíza por ahí que está visitando a Doña Iris, el gran Celso González. Un abrazo para Celso. Y el plan es cerrar, again, si Papá Dios nos dice no hay lluvia, en el parking lot del Norris Square Civic Alliance Rectory in 174 Diamond, with a little bit of an art installation and some projections and then some short films. And there you will have the opportunity to see the world premiere of Hello Sunshine, which is a documentary that celebrates our own Ros Pichardo.
Oh, wow. Oh, wonderful. That is fantastic. Philly's own. That is fantastic. Well, I may stop by that event. That's a great tip. Thank you so much. And you're always around front and center, Marangeli, not only in the film world, but in the arts world with our muralists and our artists, our visual artists. So I know that I'm glad that you're able to, now that the pandemic's winding down, you're able to incorporate that into this, that piece into your show, your festival this year. That's very exciting.
Sí. Y musiquita también, ¿sabes? Afrotaíno tiene un Afrotaíno Lounge por ahí, con performances de Puerto Rico, un poquito de Calma Carmona, Senia Rubinos, tú sabes, Balloon. Vamos a hacer algo. Tense pendientes, sigan chequeando el website and social.
I'm definitely going to keep my eyes out for that. So I'm just really proud of our continued collaboration, our friendship. And Marangeli, I want everyone to support the Philadelphia Latino Film Festival, May 30th to June 6th. There's no reason anyone watching this cannot contribute to a great cause and support these artists, support people that are, talk about maintaining the culture. The culture is dynamic, and, to give this new generation of filmmakers a voice is so important. We're going to wrap up the show with actually showing another two videos. The first one is another group of my youngest Boricua social media all-stars, Carieli Axel, are going to grace us with a Puerto Rican education lesson, which you're going to enjoy, Marangeli. And then we're going to wrap it up with actually the preview for Alas, which is going to be premiering at the Philadelphia Latino Film Festival. Marangeli Mejia-Rabell, Afro Taino Productions, the Film Festival. Thank you so much. You're such a treasure to our community, and I look forward to the Film Festival and Bomba Live 2 working with you. Month is always a great month because I get to work with you twice, so very exciting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's hear from Carieli Axel. These kids
Let's
are
Let's check it.
No, absolutely. These kids are so adorable, and they'll be at Bomba Live 2 as well.
Bienvenido a la clase de español boricua, parte 2. Mira tú, no seas caripelao.
Ok, cógelo suave que te va a dar un patatú.
Primera lección. En Puerto Rico no decimos wow, decimos a rayo.
A rayo.
También decimos diache o qué brutal. Próxima palabra, algarete.
Algarete.
Utilicémosla en una oración. El gobierno está al garete.
Ese profe está al garete.
¿Qué tú dijiste?
No, nada, profe, mala mía.
Exacto. Tú no eres guapito. Próxima palabra. ¡Ay, bendito!
¿Qué significa eso?
No sé, pero se tiene que decir por lo menos 100 veces al día. Ahora viene el bono. Completa esta famosa palabra boricua.
Say what? Profe, yo no puedo decir esa palabra, yo soy un niño.
Pues tiene F.
Ay, bendito, este profe está tostado.